Odette is a level 2 coach in blind tennis at Metro Blind Sport, which is an organization helping blind and partially sighted people to get into sport.
Okay, Alex, try and I know you're trying to get the ball on the first bounce, but sometimes you miss it because it's going too fast. Give yourself a chance. Let it bounce twice before you go and get it.
Okay.
Play.
Blind tennis is not an official sport yet. It is played in Japan, America, Canada and Australia. Odette and some other players from Metro went out to Japan a couple of years ago to learn the techniques for teaching people who are blind. Amanda was one of them.
You have to be imaginative in how you change your teaching and your coaching techniques with sound, with a lot of audio description, a lot of your demonstrations have to be very verbal. You might be demonstrating a serve, but you will have to ask people to touch your body, to touch your arms, to get a feel of what the hand and arm positions are.
Okay, good serve.
Try bending your knees a little bit. Yeah? As you go to hit.
My central vision is quite good. I can see things quite a long way in the distance, but I can't see anything around to the side or around the corners. So I have to listen to the ball until it comes in front of me, but then I can find it, then I can hit it.
So I'm the reverse. I don't have the central vision, I have good peripheral vision. So I don't see the ball, I have to sort of turn my eyes sideways to try and get it. And the same, I have to listen to the ball bounce. The ball has a sound inside, so when it bounces, you hear it. So the other thing is the ball is made of foam. So if it hits you, because obviously you might not see it and you can't get out of the way, it won't hurt you, or not as much as a regular tennis ball.
We play with a 21-inch racket or a junior racket. It gives people with a vision impairment better awareness of the surface of the racket. If it was slightly longer, it'd be more difficult to actually get a clean hit on the ball.
Odette is also the development manager at Thomas Pocklington Trust, a charity providing housing, care and support for people with sight loss in the UK.
My involvement with Metro is very important. It's very connected with the job I do here at the centre, because it means I can inspire people, other people, to take part in sport. Who were you giving it to? Who were you giving it to?
Sarah.
For blind people, often it's getting the information. They don't know what kind of sports they can do. And sometimes they say, oh, I'm blind, I can't do anything anymore. And they don't realise there's adaptations, there's special sessions. So it's really important that I know what's out there for people to do.
In June 2009, I had a prolapsed and herniated disc which had trapped some nerves in my spine. When I went in for surgery, some complications arose and unfortunately my stomach was paralysed and I suffered a lot of damage to my nerves which has forced me to use a wheelchair to mobilise and to get around. I was always told that one of my biggest problems from the doctors is that I was doing too much exercise, I was doing too many things to try and make myself get better. But I completely disagree with everything that they've ever said to me, and I don't think you can ever do enough. If you are stuck in a chair, then you should take every opportunity possible to go out and to try and do some sport and to try and stay happy, because the effect that it has on your life and the effect that it has on your whole attitude is absolutely amazing. And by ignoring the doctors, it was probably the best thing that I've done.
Justin started to play wheelchair basketball at the Aspire Centre, which is the first fully integrated centre in Europe for disabled and people who have suffered injuries.
The man I got my wheelchair from, he's also the coach of the wheelchair basketball team. They gave me a chair to use, my first chair to use, they've given me my second chair to use. They've given me all the advice that you could ever need if you're starting out in the sport, and they're very supportive.
When Jossie first started coming here about 12 months ago, Justin hadn't got a clue how to play wheelchair basketball. He's never seen a wheelchair basketball before.
Didn't even have a proper wheelchair.
And he didn't even have a proper wheelchair before. But look at him now. He's lost a bit of weight down there. He's put muscles on the arms, and he trains about 5 or 6 times a week, and he trains really hard. And look, I reckon in about 4 years' time, he'll be ready for the next Olympics.
The chair is just the extension of the body. Just because the legs don't work, you adjust and you make the chair do everything that your legs would normally do. And you just feel for the ball. You never look at the ball when you're playing. Everything is just through the touch. And I forget about the pain when I play, and everyone forgets about all of the problems that they're experiencing. And all you focus upon is just the game and the ball, and everything is just an extension of you.
One of the most difficult things about being in a wheelchair and participating in sport is the cost of the equipment.
The everyday wheelchair, for example, is about £3,000 to £4,000, depending on what one you want. But then for a wheelchair basketball, so a basketball wheelchair, it's going to cost around the same amount as your everyday chair, £3,000 to £4,000 for one of the top of the range ones. Some people get it from their family, from friends, people save up a lot from work. If you're under the age of 18, then it's even easier to try and get funding towards the cost of a chair, as they're trying to get more children involved into wheelchair sports and more disabled people to get active.
Most people who play wheelchair basketball are paralysed from the waist down. We have one or two who have artificial limbs, and they just get on and do with it. And it's like any sport, disabled or non-disabled. If you want to do it, then you'll train hard enough to do it.
Alex, as a blind tennis player, you mustn't think that you have to be nice to the other players. And don't feel that because they're blind you have to be nice. And no, it's a competition.
Every summer, Metro organises sporting competition in London.
I've been with Metro Blind Sport for about a year now, and it's just been amazing. Really changed my life, definitely. Coming here today, it's a social thing. You get to meet other people with a vision impairment like myself, and it's just a good way to have a bit of exercise and a bit of fun, really.
Roy is an ex-Paralympic athlete and the chief of Metro Blind Sport.
We've got 99 entries today. Great things that I really love is when I organise athletics meetings or sport, whether it be tennis or cricket, and you get young children coming along who are blind, very young, and they've not done sport before. And after an hour, they're running around either with a ball or they're jumping and throwing, and they're so excited. And I experienced that a couple of weeks ago at the Metro Games. We had over 200 people there. It was an absolutely fabulous day.
One of the big aims of Metro is to get blind tennis into the Paralympics.
The Paralympics, it's a long-term goal. It's a big dream for all of us. Wouldn't it just be fantastic if it was 2020? In terms of 2020 vision, even to get the blind tennis as a demonstration sport, it has to be played in 10 or 12 countries.
We would beat them all.
The Paralympic Games are a major international multi-sport event for athletes with a physical disability. The first Paralympic Games was held in Rome in 1960. Competing for the Paralympics means a lot for people with disabilities.
If I was able to get into the 2016 Paralympics for any of the sports that I'm doing, it would be the pinnacle of all of the work that I've been putting into all of the sports. I'm hoping that I can go to the 2016 Paralympics in Rio to play wheelchair basketball, and the thought of being able to represent the country and just being able to take it to an international level for the sport that I love would just be an incredible feeling and an amazing achievement, especially from coming where I've been, from being stuck in hospital or being stuck in bed to competing in massive stadiums in front of lots of people. It's an amazing feeling.
Channel 4 won the rights to cover the London 2012 Paralympics.
Paralympic Games will be the biggest broadcasting event in Channel 4's history.
They launched their coverage with a marketing campaign deliberately provocative. The channel hopes to open up Paralympic sport to a new audience. Christina competed in the Sydney Paralympic in 2000. She spoke at a conference organised by two disability art organisations at the South Bank Centre.
I think it has changed. I think post-Sydney, I had a lot of people saying to me, well, what is the Paralympics? Because they'd simply never heard of it. Post-Beijing, I met people who were actually surprised that we even trained as athletes at all. Not even to the same extent as Olympic athletes, but that we maybe just turned up and had a go.
So I guess what I can personally offer to move things forward from that point of view is our new intake of disabled reporters and presenters that we're launching at the Paralympics. And I hope those people will inspire more disabled people out there to think they can do that and find a career in the industry.
Mani is a blind radio journalist for BBC Sport.
I studied English language at university for my degree, and then I did a master's in broadcast journalism because I've wanted to work in broadcasting since I was about 3 years old. I was living in Iran where I was born, and we were in the middle of a war with Iraq, and I was obsessed with the news of the war. Journalists and producers who spend their lives talking to people, you would think that they were quite open-minded and broad-minded, but actually, when it comes to disability, most of them assume you can do the minimum rather than the maximum. So that needs to change in media. This piece of kit is called a braille note, and it's what I use to make all my notes, really. I write all my scripts on here, all my contacts are written on here. It's very valuable to me, very important in my life.
For those taking part, it's more than a race. It's a battle to be seen as normal, for a future without prejudice.
We've got a basketball session on at
4:30.
5:30.
Was it 5:30?
5:30, yeah, 5:30 till 6:30, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to go now and get ourselves prepared.
Open up the little doors.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, cut that one up. No swearing on court. Ready? Play. What's on?
You've never.